Did you go out on a date with Drake? I didn't. Should I? Should I go out on a date with Drake?
Drake in the DMs. How a real-life anime girl turned curves into a six-figure empire. Look, I'm gonna keep it straight with you right now. When Drake slides into your DMs, you know you've made it to a different level. But this ain't just about celebrity cosigns or Instagram flexing. This is about Louisa Kovansky, a woman who turned what everybody was already talking about, her insane curves, that 30HH chest, that waist that don't make sense, into a whole empire. And yeah, Drake noticed. But here's the thing that's wild. She didn't chase it. They came to her. Every single one of them. Before we get deeper into this, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button on Celeb Clope right now. Trust me, you're gonna want to stay locked in for these stories because we don't do surface level over here. We go deep, we go real, and we keep it mature. Now, let's get back into it. Louisa's sitting at 4.9 million followers on Instagram, and her DMs look like a who's who of thirsty dudes willing to pay top dollar just to get a response. But she wasn't always cashing six-figure checks every month. Nah, she was a stay-at-home nerd, the kind of girl who'd rather binge anime than hit up parties. But people saw something in her, something that made them obsessed. They called her a real-life anime girl. They said she had a hentai body. And honestly, when you look at her, you understand why the comparisons don't stop. The proportions are damn near unrealistic, but they're real. And that's what drove people crazy. For over 4 months straight, her Instagram was getting flooded. Dozens of messages every single day. Louisa, open an OnlyFans. Louisa, start a Patreon. We'll pay. Just give us more. At first, she brushed it off. But when the demand kept rising, when people showed her they were serious about wanting access, she made a move. And when she did, her account exploded. She's now pulling in over 6 figures a month just from her content. That's not hype. That's the power of knowing your value and playing the game smart. But let's talk about the Drake situation because that's the part that really turned heads. Back in 2021, the Hotline Bling legend himself reached out to Louisa online. Not through some manager. Not through a publicist. Drake personally slid into her DMs. And, yeah, she said he's charming in real life because of course he is. But here's where it gets even crazier. Drake didn't just hit her up to flirt. He took inspiration from her fantasy artwork for one of his promos. Then, in 2025, he invited her to be in his music video for Nokia. And she did it. If you haven't seen that video yet, go check it out. It's got 48 million views on YouTube and counting. There's a scene where Drake is literally singling Louisa out for a chat, and the chemistry? It's right there on screen. The video dropped on Valentine's Day, and people lost their minds. They were cozying up at the Nokia premiere, looking like they had history. And maybe they do. Louisa keeps it low-key, but she did say this. Drake came for the visuals and stayed for something else. Read between the lines on that one. And yo, if you're not subscribed to Celeb Clope yet, what are you even doing? Hit that button. We're bringing you the stories nobody else is telling like this. Now back to the sauce. What makes Louisa's story so compelling is that she's not out here doing the most. She's not begging for attention. She's not twerking on TikTok, trying to go viral. She's just existing in her own lane, being herself, a self-described nerd with a body that defies logic. And that authenticity? That's what people are paying for. They're not just obsessed with the curves. They're obsessed with the fact that she's not trying to be someone she's not. She stays home. She loves anime. She's not a party girl. And somehow, that makes her even more intriguing. Her content isn't just about showing skin, either. It's about fantasy, about tapping into that aesthetic that people can't get enough of. The anime-inspired looks, the artistic visuals, the whole vibe, it's curated, it's intentional, and it works. Men aren't just sliding into her DMs because they're thirsty. They're sliding in because she's created a brand that feels exclusive, elevated, and aspirational. And when you're pulling 6 figures a month, that's proof you're doing something right. Now, let's be real for a second. The internet is full of people trying to make it off their looks. But most of them don't understand the business side. Louisa does. She listened to her audience. She saw the demand. She didn't jump in recklessly. She waited until the moment was right, and then she capitalized. That's strategy. That's smart. And that's why she's winning while others are still stuck hoping for a viral moment. The Drake connection just put her on a whole other tier. When one of the biggest artists in the world is not only reaching out to you, but also putting you in his music video, that's validation on a global scale. And it's not just about clout. It's about opportunities. It's about doors opening that most people will never even see. Louisa went from getting DMs from random dudes to getting DMs from Drake. That's levels. Make sure you're subscribed to Celeb Cloak because we're not slowing down. We're bringing you the real, the raw, and the stories that matter. So, what's the takeaway here? Louisa Kovansky took what people were already obsessed with, her body, her aesthetic, her vibe, and turned it into a full-blown business. She's making more money in a month than most people see in a year. She's got Drake in her DMs and in her music videos. And she did it all by staying true to who she is. No gimmicks. No fake personas. Just her curves, and her hustle. This is the kind of story that reminds you that the game is wide open if you know how to play it. You just gotta recognize your power, understand your audience, and move when the time is right. Louisa did that. And now she's living proof that you can turn attention into empire if you're smart enough to see the opportunity. Stay locked in with Celeb Cloak for more stories like this. We're just getting started.